Time for the Power to Connect with Angela Ray.
So senior year of high school, I had signed a scholarship to be in a program where I went to the University of Houston for 4 years on a scholarship. And then I went to Baylor College of Medicine for my MD on a scholarship.
And if you don't know anything about hospitals and medicines and medical facilities and whatnot, Baylor University medical facility is one of the best in the world.
Correct.
So she went to the best.
Mm-hmm. So that was a blessing in itself, because I went to a very good medical school, which then in turn opened up more doors, because now when it was time for me to take the next step in my journey, I had a very well-known, well-respected medical school underneath my belt. So then I was able to even apply to even more, well-known institutions across the United States.
So she gave herself a great platform. And that's what I did too. And I'm going to law school. I'm going to a top 10 law school, University of Virginia Law School, top 10. I'm not, if I can't get into a top 10, then I'm not going to go. That was the conversation I had with myself. So this is awesome what you're saying. Continue. Love it.
So following medical school, I decided to go to Washington University in St. Louis, which is also another top program for medicine. And when I went there, when I moved to St. Louis from Houston and I started my, official first year as a medical doctor with the initials MD behind my name, then it hit me that what I did to get to becoming a doctor was not going to work for me moving forward. And I say that because when I found out that I was going to Washington University in St. Louis, that was the first time that I realized that not only was I a doctor, but now I was a Black doctor who was a woman, and I was the only Black woman in an entire incoming class of more than 40 people. And not only that, I was the only Black woman doctor in the entire program of more than 120 people. So I was in a situation where I felt like if I was going to continue to make it, not only did I need more support, because I also felt like I had to prove that I was worthy of my spot in this place, which meant that I needed to have even more people to connect with, because I needed people to advocate for me behind closed doors without me knowing.
Let's stop. That's very crucial. And this goes back to me saying you need to impress people, because stuff happens behind closed doors. And I know for me, I know that on 2 separate occasions, something happened behind closed doors. I was in no way supposed to get anything, but behind closed doors, somebody said, I'm not giving it to that person. The man in charge, I want to give it to Angela Ray. Mm-hmm. Same thing happened behind closed doors. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know when when it's going to hit, when the gift is, when, God's sending something for you that is just going to be mind blowing. But always know things are happening behind closed doors. So continue to work your plan your work, and be on that journey. Okay, go ahead, Dominique.
And so this goes back to your point too, where impressions matter. Mm-hmm. So I knew that just by default, even if I did not want any light shined upon me, it was already there, being the only Black woman. So it was very important for me to put my best foot forward at all times. And I'm not going to lie, there are times where we all have bad days. We're tired. We're overworked. Yes. But it was not okay for me to just say, I'm tired. I'm overworked. I don't want to do this. That was just not an option for me. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying it, I don't want to focus too much on, differences of being a Black woman, or a Black person in medicine, at least right at this point, because I think this is, everyone can use this, but it's always important to remember that, once you make an impression, it's hard to get rid of that first impression. And that first impression will go wherever you go. And you cannot make an impression upon people by telling them, I'm the best. I'm the most brilliant. I'm this, I'm that. You don't make an impression upon people by your words. You have to act it out. And so
tell them, preach, girl.
It's true. I had an intern the other day, and they asked me, this is really truly happened a couple of weeks ago. They said, well, how do I make a good impression as a doctor? And I told them the same way you make a bad impression.
Mm-hmm.
The exact same way.
That's great. That is great advice.
So, and I just, even to this day, I remind myself that my actions are everything. My actions are everything. Because even if I don't know what to do next, if I can make a good impression and people can look at me and have positive things to say, then someone that God will put in my life, put in my path to come and help me get to that next step.
Word up. Word up.
Don't forget to subscribe to The Power to Connect with Angela Ray and follow her on Facebook. You can also stay connected on Twitter and Instagram at angelaray.com.